Hi, my name is Julio Rivera. I'm an activist, journalist, adventurer, veteran, television presenter, and businessman. I've covered many of the major historical events going on around the world over the past several years, and after watching regime changes, conflict, and historic elections globally, I've come to the conclusion that the most underreported crisis in the world today can be defined in only one word: malware. That's why I've decided to dedicate my time to educating people everywhere and exposing the dangers that exist on the devices that we've become tethered to and depend on for so many reasons in our day-to-day life. Welcome to This Week in Malware. On This Week in Malware, we'll be covering: is Conti Ransomware the successor to the infamous Ryuk ransomware? Did you know that expired domain names can redirect you to malicious websites loaded with ransomware? And how do you know if a website is safe? Tips to avoid dangerous websites and stay safe online. Conti Ransomware is a threat that targets corporate networks with features that allow it to perform fast and targeted attacks. There are also many indications that this ransomware shares the same code as Ryuk ransomware, which has slowly been fading away according to reports. This ransomware strain was first seen in isolated attacks that occurred at the end of December 2019, and since then, attacks have gradually increased. The Conti and Ryuk ransomware connection and differences. In August 2017, Hermes ransomware was made available for sale on the exploit.in hacking forum by a Russian cybercriminal. According to Advanced Intel's Vitaly Kremez, hackers may have purchased this ransomware builder and turned it into Ryuk ransomware. It seems that eventually the hackers using Ryuk may have rebranded and slowly transitioned towards the use of Conti, which looks to be based on code from the second version of Ryuk. In addition to similarities in code, the Conti ransomware node has been identified to use the same template utilized by Ryuk in earlier attacks. Like most other ransomware strains, Conti ransomware determines which file to encrypt by scouring through files on local systems and SMB network shares. Then it uses AES-256 encryption via a hard-coded public key to encrypt the files. Conti ransomware also sports multiple anti-analysis features, including a unique string encoding routine in nearly every string text meant to slow detection and reverse engineering. This technique is used to hide the ransomware's various Windows API calls. When encrypting victims' files, Conti uses a Windows API called Windows Restart Manager that terminates processes or Windows services that maintain a file open during encryption. Windows Restart Manager was created by Microsoft to make it easier to install software updates without having to restart your computer, and ransomware strains are starting to use it to help encrypt databases and other vital files that are unobtainable while opened by other processes. The Restart Manager API can eliminate or reduce the number of system restarts that are required to complete an installation or update. The primary reason software updates require a system restart during an installation or update is that some of the files that are being updated are currently being used by a running application or service. The Restart Manager enables all but the critical system services to be shut down and restarted. This frees files that are in use and allows installation operations to complete, according to Microsoft's API documentation. Conti ransomware is not the first ransomware to use this API. Ransomware strains such as Revo or Soldino Kibi, Medusa Locker, SamSam, and Locker Goga are also using the Windows Restart Manager API during their encryption process, and in some cases, their decryption process. With Conti ransomware's distribution increasing and impressive advanced features, this ransomware is sure to be a nuisance for at least the time being. We've all at one time attempted to open a website only to discover that the site is no longer active and has been replaced by a landing page indicating that the domain has expired or is up for renewal. In many cases, the page may contain links related to the expired site. In other cases, the page is now hosted by an auction site that is looking to sell the expired domain name. Usually, these types of pages or auction sites appear to be benign with links that are assumed to be legitimate. But a recent report from Kaspersky Labs explains that these pages may be riddled with malware or viruses lurking in the shadows. While investigating a gaming app, Kaspersky researchers found that the app attempted to redirect them to an unwanted URL, which was listed for sale on an auction site. However, instead of directing people to the correct site, the second stage redirection led them to a blacklisted website. After further analysis, Kaspersky researchers discovered that up to 1,000 websites for sale from the same auction site. The second stage of redirection for these sites took users to more than 2,500 unwanted URLs. Most of these URLs were set up to download the Slayer Trojan, a malware that attempts to install adware on Mac computers. Between March of 2019 and February of 2020, Kaspersky observed that 89% of these second stage redirects went to ad-related web pages, while 11% went to malicious web pages. In some of the cases, the pages themselves contained malicious code. In others, users were prompted to install malware or download infected Word documents or PDF files. On the pages that install the Slayer Trojan, the attackers are believed to obtain a payment for each installation of the malware on an affected device. It is assumed that the criminals behind this campaign are part of a well-organized network that can divert traffic to malicious websites. They can do this by using redirects from legitimate domain names and exploiting the resources of known domain auction sites. According to Dmitry Kondratiev of Kaspersky Labs, unfortunately, there is little users can do to avoid being redirected to a malicious page. The domains that have these redirects were, at one point, legitimate resources. Perhaps those the users frequently visited in the past. And there is no way of knowing whether or not they are now transferring visitors to pages that download malware. In general, malvertising schemes like these are complex, making them difficult to fully uncover. So your best defense is to have a comprehensive security solution on your device. Although this particular attack is hard to combat, you can still take several steps to prevent malware from infecting your devices. An important step to protect your devices is running antivirus and anti-malware software. These programs can block malware from being installed and remove it if it does get onto your devices. Some tips you can follow are: only install programs and updates from sources you trust. Use a dependable security solution with anti-spear phishing features that prevent redirects to suspicious pages. And always trust your hunch and don't click on suspicious links. Whenever we do a web search and encounter a page we've never seen before, the little voice inside our head always asks, is this website safe? It's good to be careful, and it's vital to vet a website before sharing any personal information such as credit card numbers, passwords, addresses, etc. But what are some important keys to remember to keep your web browsing safe? Here are some helpful tips that we hope will provide you with a safer internet experience. 1. Utilize a website safety tool. You can quickly check if a website or URL is safe with a website safety checker like Google Safe Browsing. According to their page, Google's safe browsing technology examines billions of URLs per day looking for unsafe websites. 2. Double check URLs. You can always perform your own website safety test by moving your mouse over any link to verify the URL it's really linked to. Remember also to make sure URLs are spelled correctly, too. Most people only glance over the text on web. Cybercriminals realize this and will often substitute visually similar characters like and trick victims into visiting their sites. Don't fall for this scheme. It only takes a moment to verify a URL is safe to visit. 3. Check for HTTPS. HTTP, or Hypertext Transfer Protocol, is the fundamental protocol for sending data between your browser and the websites you frequent. HTTPS is the secure version of this, as the S stands for secure. HTTPS is often used for online shopping and banking sites. It encrypts communications to prevent criminals from stealing information like credit card numbers and passwords. How do you know if a site uses HTTPS? Check for a padlock icon in your browser's navigation bar. If you see it, you can trust that the site you're on is using a trusted SSL digital certificate and your connection is secured. 4. Look for a privacy policy. If you've already logged onto a website but can't tell if it's legitimate, look for a privacy policy. Reputable websites generally have a privacy policy page, as it's the law in many countries. Take a few extra moments to click around the site and see if you can find the privacy policy. The privacy policy is usually located at the bottom of the page in small font. 5. Don't blindly trust so-called trust badges. Trust badges or trust seals regularly appear on e-shopping sites to display trustworthiness. Although many legitimate sites use these, they're also not very hard to add. Many sites copy and paste these icons without having any real legitimacy to them. In fact, many articles on the web advise e-commerce sites to make up their own trust seals to increase their sales. So don't fall for a false seal and always verify the site is real. You know, as I think about the dangers that exist online, not unlike the subjects we learned about in this video, I know I feel a lot better having an anti-malware program like SpyHunter installed in my PC, providing me the protection I need against malware, and I think you should too. SpyHunter 5's strongest features are found in its malware repair capabilities. SpyHunter 5's remediation algorithms dive deep into your system to remove and address complex malware issues affecting PCs today. While many anti-malware products only flag and quarantine malware and ultimately fail to fully remediate the root problem, the SpyHunter 5 remediation algorithm detects, quarantines, and programmatically repairs malware problems on your PC. SpyHunter 5 is a powerful PC utility that repairs malware threats in many cases where other competing anti-malware and antivirus programs may fail. To detect and remove malware for free, go to enigmasoftware.com and download SpyHunter today. Thanks for watching.